What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, me doing the Ratatoskr Demonic Beast Battle complete guide. In this video, guys, we're going to be covering the team explanation, the gear that you want to be running, the passives on the fight, and explaining every single floor of the Ratatoskr Demonic Beast to my best ability. And yeah, I also will have a Google document linked in the description, guys, if you want the written guide for it. This will be the video format guide where I'm going to be explaining everything throughout in the video. So if you guys want to watch the entire video, feel free to do it. If you want to go to parts, I will also have it timestamped in the in the actual video itself, so you guys can click whenever you want to actually watch a specific part of the video. So let's hop in, guys, and let's talk with the team explanation. Alright, guys, so for the team on the Ratatoskr Demonic Beast Battle, there's only been one team so far that's done a floor 3 clear, and it's going to be this team right here. And this team is the best one to be able to do it, and the only one so far. Now, in terms of the team comp that we got here, we got Demon King Meliodas, we got Sweet Jelly King, we got the Ragnarok Merlin, and we also do have LR Elizabeth. Now, in terms of the artifacts card support, we are actually running the basic stat card set, so it's going to be 10% allied basic stats, and yeah, you have immunity to freeze as well, which is not something that does happen in this fight, so that part's not going to matter, but it's mainly there because you want the 10% basic stats in Demonic Beast Battle. Alright, now discussing the gear on the characters here, guys, this is the exact gear that we have here, and I also do have this on the written guide as well, so you guys will be able to see all this, and I do have all the explanations for the gear there. But in terms of the gear that we're rocking, guys, attack, crit resistance, Demon King Meliodas, these substat rolls on the attack, 4 set are actually just going to be your standard rolls, so attack on the top pieces, HP on the bottom, and as you guys see, the 2 set in the middle is actually going to be crit resistance with crit resistance rolls. Now, you do not have to run the exact same setup that I have here, where I have crit resistance SR engraved, and then we have UR engraved. You don't need these 2 pieces. Honestly, you can make it. Here, I'll show you guys another example of what the way you can do the gear, but what I would recommend is you actually make both of them R pieces. You don't need SSR. I'm just gonna go to a random character here to give you guys the example, but you don't have to run SSR gear here. You can actually run R gear, and the reason why you would want to make R gear is because you can re-roll it with gold, right? It's a lot cheaper to re-roll it with gold, and so you're going to be able to do that instead, and it'll save you on a ton of resources. And I know for a fact it is doable with our gear in the middle, so don't worry if you see that my team has the SSR on the left and then the R on the right. But literally all the gear though is, guys, is just engraved on the set characters that I had for when I initially did Skull and Hottie back in the day. So that's why I have if we look on the gear set here, when we go back to Ratatoskr, it's a Freyr piece, right? If we go to gear, you can see that it says Freyr Mind Eye Necklace. This is because back in the day, we actually did have to run crit resistance on Freyr and the rest of the team for Scold and Hottie. And so I did save this gear piece, which is technically just an SSR piece. And then this is actually technically a R piece of gear that I did re-roll using gold. I just engraved it up to SR for extra defense. So this is not actually, something that you need to really worry about. Make sure that you have R on both sides, guys. R gear, it doesn't really matter. And just make sure that your rolls are going to match the actual set bonus. So if we have set bonus crit resistance right here, we're going to be rocking crit resistance rolls on the gear. Alright, guys, so moving on to the Sweet Jelly King here, we are rocking 4 set HP and then the 2 set critical resistance. So the exact same setup as Demon King Meliodas, except the 4 set's going to be HP, and the rolls on the actual 4 set is going to be the same thing. Attack on the top pieces, HP on the bottom, and then on the middle here, we're going to have crit resistance because it's going to match the crit resistance set bonus. So we have 2 set critical resistance, so we are going to be rocking critical resistance rolls. And then moving on to Ragnarok Merlin here, guys, we are going to be rocking 4 set HP, 2 set critical defense. Now, you don't necessarily need this maxed out critical defense gear that I have right here. If you run the exact same setup as I mentioned, where you're running R on the middle for both, slots, as long as it has crit defense rolled for it, guys, it should be completely fine. This is the one I made for my Melasila gear, though. That's why it says Melasila's Fortitude. So I have this 2 set right here with maxed out base stat and maxed out critical defense. So you don't have to necessarily do this, but it does definitely help a lot on your Merlin. So I do have that gear set right there. And then the other piece is the exact same thing as Jelly King. I have, the 4 set on the attack on the top pieces, and then the HP on the bottom for the 4 set HP. And then moving on, guys, to the LR Elizabeth gear. This is the most important gear set, I would say, of the 4 characters that you have on the team. And it's going to be double defense, so 2 set defense, 2 set defense, 2 set critical resistance. Now, in terms of the rolls on the gear, for the top two set of the defense, you're rocking attack rolls on the top pieces right here, and then on the middle pieces, you are actually rocking critical resistance, and it's the exact same thing as I mentioned, so you can run R gear in the middle if you want, and that's completely fine. And then, yeah, you guys can see I have my my best critical resistance gear. I actually did give to Elizabeth, though. And then for the bottom pieces here, this is very important as well. The belt is going to be HP %, but if we actually go to the rune, it's going to be recovery rate. And you want to make sure that it is a R piece of gear for the rune, and it is recovery rate on the rolls, because you want to pretty much lower Elizabeth's HP as much as possible so that she gets targeted. And because we do have recovery rate right here on the actual rolls, it's going to make it so that our Tarmiel Link healing is going to be a lot more as well. So that is pretty much the gear explanation right there, guys, for the team. Alright guys, so that's pretty much the gear there for all 4 of the characters on the team. Let's actually move on to the passives here, and we'll talk about what passives you want to be getting when going through the fight. Alright guys, so discussing the passives here for the all 3 floors right here, let's talk about which ones you actually want to have and which ones you don't want to have. So starting with floor 1 here, you're only going to get 1 passive on the phase 3, and the one that I actually do recommend, guys, is going to be the ignore defense. Now, the reason why this one's better than the other one is because this one right here is actually going to give the Ratatoskr crit chance and crit damage by 20%, and you don't want him to get that extra crit chance and crit damage, because that means if he's hitting the characters that have critical resistance with crits, they're going to be taking too much damage. And so I do think that the ignore defense one is the best, because all it's going to do and let the boss have is the hero ignores 40% of the enemy's defense when using skills and applies before skill activation, which honestly 40% of our defense is not really going to matter as much as the critical damage and critical chance that the boss will get with the other passive. Now moving on to floor 2's passives, guys, we have 2 passive slots that you're able to get. On floor 2 phase 1, this is one that you will actually have to reset for, because this is one that could actually mess you up in a certain scenario depending on what you're using. So this one right here is the one you want to get, the basic stat increase. So increases the hero's basic stats by 10% when an enemy uses a rank up skill during the enemy's turn. This is something that you're not going to do on this team, because we just don't have a rank up skill on our team, guys. Whereas this one right here is a problem, because if we decide not to attack Ratatoskr, increases the hero's attack by 10% at the start of the next turn if the hero doesn't take damage, resets upon taking damage. This one will actually be bad if we don't attack Ratatoskr on a turn and then he attacks us, because then the boss gains 10% attack for no reason, when we could have this passive right here, which is just a free passive for us. And so I definitely do recommend resetting for this one over this one, but honestly it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But I do recommend getting this one since it is a little bit better than this one right here. And then moving on to phase 3 here, guys, of floor 2, we do have 2 more passives as well. The one that I'm actually going to recommend for you guys is going to be the bottom one, the critical damage increase. And the reason why is because when we read the actual effect here of this passive, increases the hero's critical damage by 10% for each orb removed from the hero's ultimate move gauge. Now remember, guys, on our team we do not have gauge reduction on any of the characters we're running, so this one's pretty much a free passive here, and it's not going to really hinder us, whereas this one right here definitely will. Increases the hero's attack by 2% at the end of the ally's turn up to 5 times, so he's going to get up to 10% attack for free, and there's nothing we can really do about that. So if you do want to reset for passives on floor 2, then I definitely recommend getting the basic stat increase on phase 1 and then the critical damage increase on phase 3. Alright guys, now moving on to the floor 3 phase 1 passives here. I think that these ones are honestly indifferent, guys. Whichever one you get on this phase, just continue the run and see where it gets you, because regardless of the passive you get, I do think it's still doable regardless of what happens. Now if you actually read both the passives here, decreases the damage this hero takes to from the enemies by 10%. I would say if you had to get between the two, I would actually probably take this one over this one, but the second one here is going to apply effect on a hero which increases max HP by 15% at the start of the battle. So obviously he's going to be a little bit more tankier, whereas this one is also going to be a little bit more tankier but through damage reduction. So it's really you know, pick your poison. Whichever one you get though, honestly I say continue doing the run till we get to the phase 3 and we talk about passives for that. Alright guys, now moving on to the phase 3 passives right here. These ones are very, very important, guys. We have 2 passives here, Desperate Resolve and the ultimate move gauge decrease. Now the one that you do not want to get, and regardless of what happens throughout the fight, this one is a must skip. If you get this passive, it is a automatic reset. So ultimate move gauge decreases enemies ultimate move gauge by 1 orb when the hero enters the battle. So the way this works is because there's 3 stumps, you lose 3 gauge turn 1, like instantly. And then the way it works as well, which I think is being patched, so by the time this guide is out, it might be changed for this specifically, guys. But the way it works right now is that whenever the Ratatoskr moves to a different stump or goes back to the exact same stump he was at, it actually counts as him entering the battle, and it removes another ultimate move gauge on you. So that passive right there will ruin runs, and possibly in the future could still ruin runs as well, depending on how they balance it. I don't know what they're changing with this ultimate move gauge decrease passive, but we'll see. And yeah, I mean, regardless though, don't get this passive. You get this one and it's before the patch that they're gonna do on this passive, don't do it, guys. Just don't do it. Just reset instantly. If you get this passive though right here, Desperate Resolve, you definitely want to take it. Fills the hero's ultimate move gauge by 1 orb at the start of the battle, and that's pretty much nothing. Like, all it is he gets 1 more gauge to rush his ultimate, and honestly, that's the only one you can really get here. This is literally it, guys. If you get this passive, completely reset. Do not attempt to fight. And if you get this one right here, Desperate Resolve, give it a shot. Alright guys, so that's going to be the phase passes right there. Let's actually move on to floor 1, and let's discuss how you actually want to be going about floor 1, and I'll walk you guys through my run that I did on stream, and we'll talk about things that we do on each phase and how you want to go about it. Alright guys, so this is the recording here where I actually did beat this on stream. This was my first attempt actually at floor 1 on my main account. And yeah, it was definitely a pretty cool experience. I've done it already on my free-to-play account before I did this run that I did on stream. But the only thing that I did not do was floor 3 in depth. Like, I did floor 1 and I did floor 2, and I did it on my free-to-play account. And in this video, I do it on my main account. And yeah, it was definitely a cool experience for sure. I think once we got to floor 3 though, that's when problems started to arise. But the phase 1 was not that bad in the floor 1. So as you guys will see on the screen right here, I actually do go for the shock card with Merlin. And the reason why we do the shock card is because on this phase, depending on the skill you use, he will move to that stump specifically. So if you use shock, he will go to the left. If you use bleed, he will go to the right. And if you use a poison skill on the actual boss himself, he will go to the middle. And so you're gonna need all 3 of those skills, and that's why we're rocking Jelly King on the team. That's why we're rocking Merlin. They both have shock, bleed, and poison. And then also another thing about it as well is that they have ranged and melee skills, which will come into clutch on the final phase of floor 1, which will be very, very important. So you guys see there, when I did the bleed, he went to the right. When I did the shock, he went to the left. And then you guys will see here, when I do the poison, he will go to the middle. So that is the mechanics of this first phase. And pretty much all you want to do while you're doing this and you're moving him is you want to kill him pretty much. So you can damage him. There's no immortalities or anything like that. Feel free to go for damage on this phase, and you shouldn't have too many issues here, guys. You should be completely fine, honestly. So yeah, just apply that. And then another thing right there, as you guys saw, once he got below 40% HP, he actually did apply that dissolve passive that I think the bird has on phase 2. No, it's yeah, so it's phase 2 floor 3. The bird has that effect as well, where when you attack into him, it actually dissolves your cards, so you actually do lose ultimate move gauge. But yeah, so right there, as you guys saw, he did get an HP lower, and the way he gets that HP lower is by moving him from left to right to middle. So we did shock, bleed, then poison, and that's how we got him to the middle, and he actually did get HP lowered. And right here, we're actually going to finish off the fight by doing the Liz ult and just cycling through that, and then we kill him off and we move into the second phase right there. Alright guys, so hopping into the phase 2 right here, guys, what you want to be doing on this phase, and it's going to be the exact same kind of mechanic as the first phase, where shock sends into the left, bleed sends into the right, and then poison sends into the middle. But what you want to do specifically though is when you're attacking them, you guys will see that when you attack the stumps, it actually applies a blue buff on the boss. So when you hit an AoE, it's going to give him 2 stumps, and that's because we're doing an AoE skill and hitting 2 of them, right? So you don't want to be damaging the stumps as little as possible. The only time you can damage it is if you have a buff strip, and the reason why this is important is because if you give him 5 of those blue buffs, he actually will gain an attack related stat buff, and that's where he's gonna pretty much nuke you. So you don't want to give him more than 5 blue buffs. The most you want to go to is 4, and then buff strip him, and then you'll be okay, because then it'll go back to 2, right? Because Elizabeth is an AoE skill, it will buff strip, and you can get 2. So right there, we instantly just finish off the fight though, guys, as we were moving him, and we do get the passive right there, the one that ignores defense. And so on this phase right here, guys, the main thing that is important about phase 3 is that you'll see the left and the right stump both have a little buff there that allows them to evade either range or melee. And so the same thing applies where shock puts him left, bleed puts him right, poison puts him middle. And the important thing about this is that when we use shock, it makes it so that we are allowed to use only only melee skills, right? So now when we actually look at the boss, he has that little like arrow icon on the top left. That means that we have to use a bleed skill. It can either be a King ultimate, or it can actually be just a straight up bleed card that King has with the weak point, right? So we do the ultimate right there with Merlin, we do the ultimate with King, that's going to apply bleed, and so that's going to allow him to move to the right now. So now that he moves to the right, we're we're actually going to be melee evade now. So now you have to use a range skill. And so right on this turn, you want to, ideally, you want to use the poison card with King so that you can send him to the middle. And then that's when you're able to remove the damage cap that he has and go for the kill. Because if you guys don't know, you're not going to be able to kill him unless you do the left, right, middle combo. Because he has that damage cap and you're not able to kill him at all. But once he gets to the middle, you guys see he does lose that damage cap, and now you're able to actually deal a ton of damage and pretty much finish him off there. So yeah, right here, we're all at this point in the fight, guys, we're just kind of cycling ults here, and you want to just keep him moving, right? So you wanted to, you know, move him left again, you can move him back to the right, you can move him back to the middle, but pretty much you want to just damage him while you do it now. So once we've gotten him to the middle and we remove that damage cap, you can pretty much cycle him over to the left, right, middle again, and as long as you're damaging the actual boss right there and getting him low, then you'll be completely fine. So right there, he moves to the right because we did a bleed again, right? And so right here on the turn that we're on right now, all we really have to do is do the Elizabeth attack card, and then the ultimate, then Elizabeth attack card, then the melee attack, and then we're pretty much going pretty good right there, guys. So yeah, we just have to kind of, you know, lower his damage here and then finish him off. Oh yeah, the reason why I didn't attack is because it's only range skills actually for that. That's why I actually didn't go for the melee attacks right there. So yeah, he does from there move back to the middle, and so that's pretty good right there. We did actually kill both these stumps right there, guys, and as you guys will see, when you killed the stumps, he does gain a max HP increase, but it doesn't mean your run is dead. So if that does happen, that's completely fine. You just have to make sure that you finish off the fight and make sure you're full HP as well. And so right there, what I did was I ulted with Liz, and then we just ripped all of our attack cards with melee, and we finish off the floor 1 and all 3 phases right there, guys. So that is going to be the floor 1 right there. Let's move on to the floor 2. Alright guys, so hopping into the floor 2 of the Ratatoskr right here, guys, let's explain how you want to go about this phase of the fight. We do actually get the rank up passer right there, which is really good, and you guys can, honestly, you could just reset forward if you really want, but that is the passive right there. And the way you want to go about this phase of the fight, guys, is you want to kill both the left and the right stumps to remove the immortality on the middle Ratatoskr. And so the way you're actually going to do it is by taking out the stumps and doing a ton of damage to them. Now, the thing that was from phase 1 where, you know, the shock left, you know, bleed right, poison middle, that is still the same. So, you know, bear that in mind. That's still the complete same right there. And so you want to just make sure that you kind of move him to a different spot and then move him back to the middle, and then that's when you're going to want to kill some of the stumps right there. So what I like to do is I move him to the left and then focus on the right stump. So once you kill the right one, then he's not able to go there, and then he will actually go to the middle, and then you can focus the left stump. So that's kind of the way I like to go about it, but it's really up to you in terms of doing it. Another thing as well is that you will be applied a red debuff at the start of every turn of an ally's turn, right? So you will get a food poisoning debuff, and the way the food poisoning debuff works is that once you get 5 red debuffs, they will automatically convert into a gray food poisoning, which will be 15% of your max HP every single turn. So you definitely do not want to get, you know, a ton of those food poisonings, and ideally, since the boss is always going to be attacking Elizabeth, it should only be her that gets the food poisonings. If anyone else on the team gets it, that is really, really bad. And another thing as well, guys, is you do not want to use a cleanse card with Elizabeth, because that will actually give you like 3 food poisonings on each character. It's really bad. So don't use a cleanse card with Elizabeth. Just kind of let the fight go naturally, and you know, let Meliodas cleanse a lot of them, and yeah, you should be completely fine though, guys. Don't worry as well if you get a few, you know, gray food poisonings. They will start removing throughout the fight. So when you go to phase 2 as well, it will remove 1 food poisoning from each ally. So bear that in mind as well. So it's okay if you do get like 2 of them, or, you know, maybe 3 would be probably a reset. But if you get 2, it's okay, because then when you move to the next phase, you'll only have 1. So that is completely fine as well. But pretty much what you want to do, guys, is take out the left and the right, and then focus on the middle Ratatoskr till he dies, and then you'll move on to the phase 2. Now, yeah, so as you will see here, we're pretty much just ripping all of our attack cards right here. We're dishing out a ton of damage. We're cycling Elizabeth ultimates, and that's how we're kind of moving throughout the fight and having very little issue here. So, yeah, right there. He does attack into Elizabeth. Elizabeth is getting a ton of food poisonings though. That was the one issue that I did have going throughout this fight, is that I did get a ton of food poisonings, but we were completely fine by the end of it, because we were removing a lot of the food poisonings by the end of the fight. So one thing that you can do as well though, is you can use the cleanse card after you've killed the boss. Once the boss is dead, feel free to use it then, but don't use it while he's alive, because then you'll get a ton of problems throughout the fight. Alright guys, so moving on to the phase 2 here, floor 2. What you want to do on this phase is going to be the exact same thing as the first phase, where you have to kill the left and the right stumps, and it's the same way of moving him as well, guys. So left is going to be with the shock, right is going to be bleed, middle is going to be poison. Now, the one thing that I do want to specify on this phase though is that the right stump is really bad because it gives him all stats increase. So you definitely do not want him to be on that side. I think, oh no, it's not all stats increase, it applies food poisoning on you. That is bad. So you want to pretty much keep him on the left and the middle, because when you move him to the left and you move him back to the middle, you'll be completely fine and you can deal with him that way. But try and focus down the right stump as quick as possible, so if you're doing a ton of damage to it, you should be completely fine. But yeah, I mean, pretty much you just want to focus down the right one as quick as you can, and you should be good. Now, every turn 2, you guys will see right there, he does actually hide. Now, when he hides, the way you want to go about it is wherever you know he's going to be going, if you attack that specific stump and and you get the mark on it, that's where he will go, and you will get a all stats buff for your entire team if you get the correct stump that you attack. So right there, when I attacked the middle stump right there, he did actually get a mark, and we got an all stats buff on our entire team. So you want to pretty much, what I like to do is I'll single target multiple stumps at that time. So you saw there that I attacked both the left and the middle stump, and because I did that, it actually applied the mark on both those stumps because we did single target with melee, and we were able to apply that, and we did get the all stats the moment he left. Now, if you didn't do that, you actually would get an oxidized debuff on your entire team, but Demon King melee would auto cleanse that on the turn. So you know, it's not like a complete end of the world if that does happen, but it's just something to definitely think about, right? So yeah, right there, we killed both the left and right stumps because the abyss from King right there was able to take it out, and so now he can't move and he's stuck in the middle, and now we're going to be able to easily take him out from this range, guys. So yeah, right there, we're just kind of taking a little bit of damage. Again, it's all about cycling Liz ultimate, so make sure you keep that Liz ultimate cycling. On this phase, by the way, you are able to cleanse with Elizabeth. Feel free to do it. It's only on the phase 1 where you're not able to cleanse. The phase 2 and the phase 3, you should be completely fine. So that is going to be the phase 2 of floor 2 right there, guys, because he's going to die from the abyss after he hides on this turn, right? So yeah, and he always hides every second turn. So every second turn of the fight on phase 2, he will hide. So bear that in mind as well, guys. So yeah, you guys see that we applied the mark right there. So now the moment he goes back onto that thing, we will get an all stats on our entire team, as you guys see. So very easy right there. We do finish off this phase of the fight, and we move on to the third phase of floor 2. Alright guys, hopping into the floor 2 phase 3 here, we did get the critical damage passive on that turn as well. And so what we want to be doing on this phase, guys, is the exact same thing that we've been doing. Kill the left and the right stump to remove the invincibility, and then we're able to kill the boss. Now, something to bear in mind is that these stumps on this phase have a 33% damage cap, so it's going to be very hard to kill them turn 1. You're not going to be able to do it, and so you want to kind of chip them down very slowly. And remember as well that the bleed, shock and poison is going to move them to their specific spots. It's the exact same thing as the phase 1 and the phase 2, so don't really worry about that. But you want to get a ton of chip damage in as much as you can throughout like this first turn. If you're able to nuke all the side guys turn 1, then feel free to do it. If you're not able to do it, that's completely fine. You can keep him moving, and that's also going to be good because every time you move him, he lowers his max HP. And so as you lower his max HP, it's going to be good because it's going to be easier to damage him. So you want to pretty much move him around and then back to the middle as you kill both the left and the right, and that'll be completely fine, and the way I like to go about it, guys. So right there, I do drop the King ultimate, then the Elizabeth ult, and then the melee AoE right there, and I'm kind of deciding how I want to go about it. But we want to make sure that we are killing the right stump right there so that we can focus down that one, and then by the time it comes back, we can attack the left stump right there. So yeah, right here I do reset the game, so let me skip over this part right here, and then we come back to this turn right here. So yeah, so what I did was I just went for the AoE anyway. We just did that, and then we got the rank up, and then we attack into the Ratatoskr right there. The middle one does survive because he goes back to the middle, and we actually did do the abyss damage on the left one there. It did a lot of damage right there. And then yeah, on this phase right here, we did get another HP lower, remember, because every time he moves, he will HP lower. And then we do kill the left one right there by doing the, I think it was, yeah, the Merlin ultimate, because I kind of wanted to just waste that as well. So I think I just used the Merlin ult, and then the what is it, the Meliodas ultimate as well. I think I go for that. Because I was, yeah, another thing that I mentioned, guys, is he does full heal when he's less than 30% HP. You guys see me looking at it in the game. So that is something that you definitely want to kind of worry about a little bit. But honestly, when I was going throughout the fight, that is something that I really didn't, you know, kind of really pay mind to. If you allow him to revive, that's honestly your best strategy, because sometimes it can get into that situation where you're not going to be able to, you know, put him right at that 31% HP, because he does have a 33% damage cap. So you're not going to be able to just, you know, always have him at that 31% range of HP. And so it is completely fine to just, you know, apply the revive. But with that, you have to make sure you have a ton of Meliodas cards, and that's going to be something you definitely want to be doing. Alright, so right there, guys, I do the Elizabeth attack card to get her ultimate back, because we were kind of low at this point in the fight. And so what I like to do at this point, I was like, okay, you know, we have to kind of just go for damage here, because we're going to apply the revive regardless of what happens. And so what I did was I went for the Elizabeth attack card while going for a bunch of Meliodas attack cards as well, and we did a ton of damage in that way. And so that was something that I thought would work. So we did the Elizabeth attack card, we do the Meliodas ultimate, follow up with a melee single target. And yeah, we did, you know, pretty well with that, because we're doing a ton of damage applying the revive. And so going into that next turn right there, I was able to get Elizabeth's ultimate, and then we actually take out that final part of the Ratatoskr, and we beat phase 2 right there, guys. So yeah, that's kind of how you want to go about it, though. I think it is a safe bet for applying the revive. He does gain a 5% all stats buff when you do it. So on this attacking turn right there, where I thought I would die, guys, and I applied the revive, he actually did also go into hiding. So that is something that I didn't actually mention, but on the 4th turn, he actually goes into hiding, and that's actually where you can finish off the fight, because all you would have to do at that point is ult with Elizabeth. But you want to save that, obviously, till you're about to kill him. Right now, you don't want to do it. So right here, I just waste a bunch of single target attack skills, and I hold on to all my Meliodas cards, so that on the next you know, on the next turn here, I can actually go for the kill. Remember that when you do a single target attack into the spot he's going to be at, you do gain a mark, which gives you all stats on your entire team right there, as you guys saw. And so because of that right there, I go for the Elizabeth ult, and then I waste all my Meliodas single targets, and we actually do finish off this phase and floor 2 of the fight there, guys. So that is pretty much how you want to go about floor 2. Let's move on to the floor 3 of the Ratatoskr Demonic Beast. Alright, guys, now moving on to the floor 3 here and the phase 1, let's talk about what you're supposed to be doing and how you guys want to go about it. Now, follow exactly what I do on my turn here, guys, and that's going to be the way you want to go about it. So what I like to do turn 1 instantly is I waste the poison card, we waste the bleed card, we waste the shock, and then we actually do move him to the left right there. Now, or no, we do move him to the right. And the way that works is that on this phase, instead of it being shock left, bleed on the right, and then poison middle, it's all 3 debuffs moves him to the right, and then I think it's 1 or 2 debuffs moves him to the left, and then 0 keeps him in the middle. It's something along those lines. But what I like to do on that turn 1 is always the triple, you know, debuff anyway, since you're always going to have it start a turn. And then what I like to do on the turn 2 is I AoE with Meliodas, and then it does a good chunk of damage on the side stumps, because you do want to actually kill them as well. And so now, you know, because he's on the right as well, he will get a all stats lower every single turn he stays there. And as long as we don't apply a debuff, he actually won't move stumps. I think it's for 2 turns at the maximum. So you have to kill him by the 2nd turn. So right there, me getting that Meliodas top deck was very important, because what it allows me to do is all with Elizabeth, and then single target with Meliodas onto both the stumps to kill them, so that the Ratatoskr is not able to move. And so all of this phase here, guys, is really just stalling from this point on. So as long as you kill both the left and the middle stump, you'll be able to kill the boss, then it'll remove his invincibility, and you're able to do it. And so what I like to do on this phase, I stall for these exact cards in the hand, guys. You want a buff card with Elizabeth, you want Elizabeth's ultimate, you want a DK Meliodas ultimate, and then you want a shock, bleed, and poison skill. If you have all 6 of those cards, then you're gonna be in a really good position on the 2nd phase, because you shouldn't have too many issues dealing with you know, the RNG that 2nd phase does have. And I like to hold on to those exact cards as you're stalling through these phases, since you're not really going to be taking a ton of damage anyway, as he is getting all stat lowered every single turn. So that's exactly what the card setup that you want to go into the next phase with. And as you guys can see, I pretty much have that card set up right there. And so every start of turn here, I'm just wasting that 1 card. I do waste Meliodas ultimate right there, which could have been a mistake, but I try to cycle it back. And so right there, we do waste that. And yeah, he is going to stay in that spot. But yeah, this is something that I did actually mess up on right here, because I didn't keep Meliodas ultimate. But it was still okay moving throughout that next phase because I still had not really too many issues. But the idea is, guys, you definitely want to have that Meliodas ultimate to be able to nuke the stumps on the second phase, because you're kind of doing the exact same thing as you are on this first phase, where you want to take out the left and the right stump. But on the second phase, you actually want to take out the middle and the right stump. So that's going to be, you know, the way you go about that second phase. So that's why I'm prepping you guys for that in this first turn, because we're trying to, you know, or in this first phase, because we're trying to prep cards for that phase, guys. So right there, we do get an Elizabeth attack card. That allows me to use Elizabeth's ultimate as well. So whenever you get an Elizabeth top deck ultimate, that's when you want to use her ultimate, because you'll always get it back. So whenever that does happen, use Elizabeth attack card or use Elizabeth whatever you get as a top deck, and then you'll top deck a Meliodas ultimate as well. With that situation right there, you should be completely fine. So yeah, right there we do get another Elizabeth ultimate again, guys. We don't have Demon King Meliodas' ultimate yet though, which is a little bit dangerous. So you want to always make sure that by the time you go into that second phase, you have that Meliodas ultimate as well. So very, very important stuff right there, guys. So right here, I think what I do actually is I actually push up Meliodas ultimate. So I think I just waste that, and then yeah, no, so that was actually a mistake right there that I made. I should have moved Meliodas twice, gotten the ultimate right there when moving into the phase 2, because I actually did not go into the phase 2 with his ultimate. That was actually a mistake on my part right there, guys. But yeah, so on this first turn right there, I actually do move the card, and then we use the 3 debuffs right there, and that's going to move him to the left. So on this phase, it's completely different. The 3 debuffs actually will move him to the left, and you have to do it in that exact order, guys, because I think a different order of the debuffs will mess up your run and it won't allow you to continue. Alright, so continuing through the fight here, guys, you will also be applied with food poisoning on this second phase as well. So whenever your turn starts, you will get 1 food poisoning, and then he will also apply food poisoning on his AoE. So ideally on this turn, I would have had Demon King Meliodas ultimate, and I would have just instantly ulted right there and killed these side guys. But what we actually did on this turn anyway is we stalled and we wasted all of our dead cards, and he actually did stay on the left. So as long as you don't debuff him, it's the exact same thing as the floor 1. He will not move spots. So just make sure you waste all your dead cards. So whenever you get like the, you know, the Merlin debuff, you can waste that, and then yeah, you should be completely fine right there, guys. And then dropping the ultimate with King, the DK Meliodas ult, the ult with Liz, and then the buff card. That's going to be really good because we actually do kill the side stump. So we got the middle and the right stump dead, and then now we can actually focus down the left Ratatoskr. Alright, guys, so now the way Ratatoskr works, the moment you kill the middle and the right stump, he's actually going to be getting a food poisoning debuff every single turn now on himself, and he also will be stancing every 2 turns. And so the way you actually remove the stance on this phase is by using melee seeds at the end. When you get 3 seeds at the end, you'll be able to stance strip, and that'll be a good way to actually go about it. So right there, I actually did make the mistake of attacking there and doing that, but we allowed him to keep the stance up anyway, because it wasn't really gonna affect us on that phase too much. It is reflect though, so you always want to attack first and then do the Elizabeth ultimate after the fact to heal it back up, and that is very, very important. And another thing to take into account in this phase as well, guys, the boss has a 10% damage cap. He only takes 10% HP, so he's not going to be, you know, very easy to kind of kill, really. It's going to take him a minute to actually do it. Alright, guys, now hopping into the phase 3 of floor 3 here. Now, I'll be honest, guys, and I wrote this down in the written guide as well, I don't 100% for sure know exactly how to move him left and right. The one thing that I did take into account, though, is whenever we use an Elizabeth ultimate, or just an ultimate in general, he did move to the left. So that could be something that I'm not necessarily completely sure about, but moving him to the left there was fine in this run, because what we were supposed to do from there is move him to the right, and that's actually what I did attempt in this run, where what you can do is you can actually reset. As long as you see where the rat's about to go, you can actually close your game and restart completely, and that is a way that I was able to go about it to try and move him to that right spot, so that I was able to deal with that part of the fight. And in this phase as well, guys, you do want to kill the you want to keep him on the right and kill the left and the middle stump, so it's kind of like the first phase. So yeah, guys, you want to be killing the middle and the left stump as well. That's going to be the most important thing. But because the stumps have damage cap, you can't just move him to the right stump instantly, because you won't be able to kill the left and the middle stump in 1 turn. You're just not going to be able to do that. So you have to move him to the left and then move him to the middle or the right, and then to the right, like if he's not already right. That's kind of the way you want to go about it, and that's how it actually did play out on this turn. And the way we were able to do that was just by kind of testing cards. We didn't know exactly how I was able to do it. I had to make sure that I was resetting to make sure that we knew exactly where he was moving on that turn after. So right there, I didn't do enough damage, and I was like, okay, you know, we can actually reset and try that again. So I do reset. Let me skip over the reset here, guys. So we skip over the reset and we try it again as well. And this time we actually do kill the left stump, and by killing the left stump and using Elizabeth ultimate, he would have moved to that left stump, but because we did use the ultimate, it looks like he actually does go to the right there, guys, which actually did work out really good for us. I don't know why it actually does that, where, you know, he moves to another stump even though we broke the stump that he was supposed to go to. I'm not exactly sure if he would have went to that stump as well, but I'm just assuming because of the way it works when you ult, he does go to the left, and you guys saw that on that first turn when we did that. So right here from this turn on, guys, it's kind of just, you know, damaging the Ratatoskr, and as long as we I think I had to do a little bit of testing here to make sure he stayed on the right. So right there, guys, after we got him on the right spot, we wanted to move him to, or no, we wanted to actually keep him in that spot and just pretty much deal with the middle stump right there. Now, when I actually did just regular attack cards, he did actually move to the middle, which is a bad thing because we don't want him to move to the middle. We want to be able to take out the middle one so we can only deal with them on the right. And so right here on this turn, I actually did reset, and I did the Elizabeth and then the Meliodas attack, and that was actually a mistake because he moved to the middle. But again, as I mentioned, guys, you can reset the moment he's about to land on the stump, and that will still allow you to reset your game and know exactly what to do on the turn when you reset. Alright, guys, so once the game actually did reload here, I actually was trying multiple different ways to try and keep him in the same spot, and I think the one thing that I learned here was applying the exact same debuff on him when he's on that second slot right there. He actually will not move, because I did ult with King, and then I did the the attack card with the bleed, and that actually kept him in the same spot. So I do think that applying the same debuff twice is a way to keep him in a spot, or it is RNG at the end of the day. That's something that I kind of just understood from experience when testing the fight, guys. So that was just something that I was doing when doing multiple floor 3 runs. But yeah, from that point on, you kill the middle stump, and then it comes down to this last bit where you have to keep cycling Elizabeth ultimates and removing his invincibilities. Now, the way the invincibilities are removed is based on the amount of food poisonings on your team every single started turn. So whenever the turn ends here, it will remove his food poison or his invincibilities based on the amount of food poisonings you have. So because I have 4 food poisonings on the entire team, it's actually going to remove 4 invincibilities on his started turn. So you guys will see here, after we waste all of these cards right there, he lands back in the same spot, and boom, it removes 4 invincibilities. He only has 4 left. And so now from this point in the fight, guys, is just me kind of stalling with Elizabeth ultimate and trying to be able to get the kill with that. And yeah, this is the last stretch of the fight here, guys, and I do have my reaction at the very end, so I will show you guys at the very end of me actually beating it and my reaction for it as well, so that you guys enjoy that at the very end. But right here, guys, it's all just about, you know, stalling to keep Elizabeth ultimate cycling. As long as you always get an Elizabeth attack card or Elizabeth buff card, you should be completely fine, because you'll be able to ult with Liz and then follow up with the buff card or the attack card, and you'll gain your gauge for that. So that is a way to actually cycle Elizabeth ultimate as fast as possible, and the way that I actually went about it. So yeah, right here, I think the way that I did on this turn though was I held on to the Meliodas cards. I thought they were very important. I think I only wasted the Meliodas ultimate, and I wasted the Elizabeth ultimate as well, and the Elizabeth attack card. And so that was the way that, you know, we do remove the 4 invincibilities, because remember, we have 4 food poisonings on the entire team, and he does actually stack another food poisoning on that every other turn, it looks like. So right there, we actually did have 2 food poisonings on each character, and so he does the double attack onto King right there. Meliodas gets a cleanse, and now at this point in the fight, guys, we're in a really good position. Right here, I actually do reset though, because of the card combo I do. So I do the double AoE right there, and I realized that, you know, it wasn't a good amount of damage, so I actually do reset. And then this is the final turn here, guys, before I actually do beat the fight. So I'll let you guys enjoy this part of the clip, and then yeah, I'll come back to the end of the video when we wrap up the video, because that is pretty much the floor 3 guide right there for the Ratatoskr, guys. Melly, and we're good to go. We're good to go, guys. Here we are, man. Here we are. No, he does not revive at 10%. If he did that, it would be beyond bullshit. No way he does anything like that. Okay, here we go. Come on, man. Come on, man. This is it right here. This is it. This is it right here. Melee ultimate. Oh, he healed a lot too. Yeah, so that was definitely the play. That was definitely the play. That was definitely the play because he healed a lot there. Okay. AoE. Oh my gosh, guys. This is it. We won. Oh my gosh. Wait, I think we beat it. 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 Oh my god. Is this it? Is this it? This. Is this it? Is this it? Oh my gosh. This might be it, guys. Boom, boom, boom. Melee ult. No. Yo, King. I'm closing the game if he doesn't kill. King, the GOAT. GOAT. Oh my god, we beat it. Let's go. Let's go, chat. We beat it. Let's go. Floor 3. Floor 3 Ratatoskr. Finally. Oh my gosh. We finally did it. We finally did it. King with the clutch. Let's go. Oh my god. 3 days. 3 days. This is crazy. 3 days. 3 days. Oh my gosh. I just need to let this sink in, y'all. I just need to let this sink in. I just gotta relax, bro. Oh my god. Alright guys, so that is going to be the complete guide right there for the Ratatoskr. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again guys, there's a few things I'm not 100% sure about in the phase 3 of floor 3, but that could just be because it actually is RNG, and that's why no one's found out about it yet. But I hope that at least watching my guide here and everything that I've, put forward to the table, that you guys are able to get your floor 3 clear, or even your floor 1 and 2 clear, because I definitely do think that this demonic beast is doable for a lot of people, at least on floor 1 and 2, and floor 3 is going to be for all the mega whales, or people that have enough time with a good amount of box CC and good consolation. So there you guys go, man. That is the complete guide for Ratatoskr. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I do appreciate all the support on the channel, and this was a video that took me a while to actually make. It took me 3 days of streaming it till I finally beat it, and so I could make this video. So definitely like this video, subscribe if you guys want to see more videos like this in general. And yeah guys, that is going to be the video right there. Hope you guys did enjoy, and we'll see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out and have a great rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.